Just when we get rid of all the snow, we go right into severe weather season with our tornadoes. If one was hit in your neighborhood, are you prepared or were you prepared? Here are a few tips that we have that will help you and your family be prepared in the event of a natural disaster. Organizational expert herself, Ty Edwards, with all things in place. She joins us this morning with tips to help get us prepared for the worst case scenario. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. Great to have you as always, and it's always a pleasure to arm our viewers with essential items, tips, and information, and that's where you come in.
I think so as well. It's important. As for me, we were about 4 miles from a tornado a couple of years ago. So, I got to thinking, I said, I really should consider doing this. And over the past 2 years, I have steadily been putting stuff together. I'm not saying I'm 100%, but I'm much better. So.
But when you've been putting things together, you recommend that it's important to check the expiration of the items, because you may be really proud to put it all together, and then when disaster hits, you realize this is like 2 years old.
Right. There are some items that you do have to check the expiration date. There are some items that the shelf life is 18 months, as in the case of these things. But for the most part, if you take something and you put it aside, check the expiration date. If it's a canned item, make sure you have a can opener. It's not going to do you any good if you don't have a can opener.
And that's such a great piece of advice. American Red Cross, we know them. We know how much they do for the community.
Yes.
A bag here, a bag of this size. How many people and how many days can they survive with what's in here?
This bag will take care of one person for 3 days. It has water and food and all the radio, all the essentials that you will find here, or you can contact them if you have a larger family. You can do up to, I think, 5, but they have different pack sizes.
Okay.
So that's important to know, and all the proceeds help support that, as well as American Red Cross.
So before if you can't make it out to get your bag as quickly as you want to and need to, let's go ahead and talk about putting together your own bag. And food and water, extremely important.
Yes.
Obviously.
Yes.
You talk about non-perishables. Give me some ideas of non-perishables.
Non-perishables can be anything like your dried fruit, your peanut butter, canned items, little pastas, little things like that. Things that you can that does have an extended shelf life. Okay. I would even recommend peanut butter. Kids like peanut butter, and if crackers, if you have to, that will sustain you for a little while.
Okay. Beef jerky is a good one too.
Beef jerky, nuts, things like that.
Love that. Now, when it comes to water, I've heard this before, but a lot of people, only because of being in the business, you have to arm people with information. But water, 1 gallon per person.
Yes. So you probably want to have, depending on how many people are in your family, a case or two that you kind of set aside just for such things. My husband and I, we go through, I go through a lot of water. He doesn't drink it as much as I do, but we do keep plenty of water on hand.
And your notes, what they tell us is not just for drinking, but to cleanse yourself if need be.
That's right. And if you do need to purify water, that's where the bleach comes in. I want to make sure I told you that. Just a few drops of bleach. There's a certain proportion. It will purify the water if you need to.
That's good to know. Okay, let's talk about your personal care, because if you're somewhere without a shower, you would like to feel a little fresh.
Yes, you do. Little just moist towelettes. Okay. They're just very simple, and you can toss them. And also make sure you have your plastic bags, because you don't want to litter. So
that's right. And you say garbage bags and twist ties. That's where that comes in to gather up everything.
That's right.
Because it can build up. I mean, you haven't seen the light of day for a little bit. You don't want to throw things everywhere.
Right.
Good advice. When it comes to clothing, sturdy shoes, boots, socks, jeans, long sleeves. But here's my favorite one: socks. And you say have lots of them.
Because your feet get wet, and you're walking. It does help to cushion as well, and you might want to change your socks often.
Okay.
Especially in most cases, you do usually take your socks off, they breathe, but if you don't get that opportunity, clean socks.
That's something that I would have never thought of. And of course, work gloves too, that you brought here, which are these bright blue ones. But these work gloves could help if you have to
dig things.
Yeah. And what type of tools should we bring with us as well? Should we make sure that's down there?
Generally, you should have pliers as well as a wrench. If you have to turn off the gas or water or something like that, it's good to have that. There's also like a multi-purpose tool. It's really small that you can use that as well. It has a screwdriver, two different sizes, so it's good to have it.
And flashlight, of course, is on the list. And I love this flashlight because this is one you crank like this. Okay, so you're cranking it like that. Very good. And then obviously it's on, but then you can push the button. That's really cool. Can't forget about our pets, though. We got to make sure that they have food.
You'd be surprised how many people when disaster strikes, they don't think about the pet. And just, some canned food, the same. Check the expiration date. Okay. Make sure you have their collar as well as a leash, because dogs panic, and you know, with there's a lot of chaos, they might not really know what to do. So you may have to contain them if you don't have a crate or something.
And speaking of containing, make sure you have all your important documents in one place: cash, family contact numbers, first aid kits, of course, repellent, cameras, things like that. All of this is going to be on our website, of course. But you know, we have all this in one bag, as you can see right here. So
airtight.
It's airtight, and it won't get wet, and then you get to find what you need.
And you do want to save those items in some type of container in a cool, dry place. So in the basement, the lowest part of the house, because if it is a tornado, you want to be able to know that it's downstairs and not upstairs on an upper level.
We appreciate you getting us ready, Ty.
Oh, you are so welcome.
You can find a link to Ty on our website, kctv5.com. Just click on that Better KC tab.